Hi, I'm Janne Ohtonen from Add Value to Me. We help entrepreneurs and business leaders to succeed business through learning new skills and networking with like-minded people. Thank you for all the comments we have received, and I hope you had some time after the last video to think about what was the most important area in your business to develop, and then had some discussions with your team. Let's recap what the process leader framework was all about. It's about increasing your revenues, increasing your profit. It's about decreasing the costs and also improving the customer service, which is very important. It will also lead into higher employee engagement. My story started some time ago when I graduated as an enterprise architect. And as a result of that, I started designing new software. I did it for big companies, and we made very impressive software for huge factories and telco companies and financial institutions. But while we were doing the software, I noticed that the software, when it was put into everyday practical use, wasn't necessarily doing the best possible result as it was expected. And therefore I started looking into that, what's going on here, what can we do better. And I found out that business processes are very important because they will link into IT systems, and that way the IT system should actually support the business processes and not the other way around. And then when that was fixed, I still thought that we can still make much more better results, and therefore I started looking into strategies. And I struggled with coming up with proper business strategies. I did studies in business school and tried to understand that how can you put the business strategies into business so that they are really useful. I mean, they are useful, but still they're not bringing the results I was expecting because I wanted to have more and faster. So then I started looking into customer strategies and how could we serve the customers better through the business processes and IT systems we have. And that led me into identifying different aspects of what customers desire and why do they deal with our business. So putting the IT together, putting the business processes together, business strategy and customer strategy, that was a really powerful combination. But I still felt like there's something missing because the companies that were applying all these different aspects, they still didn't get the best possible result. And that led me to do some research on it, and I found out that leadership is very important enabler for any business. Like John Maxwell, he likes to say that everything either rises or falls with leadership. And I think that's absolutely the right way to say it, because if you have really good leadership in place and people are happy to work and they know why they are working and they know what is the shared goal, where is this company going to, and they do that together, then the atmosphere and the culture of the company is going to be very nice. And for that reason, the leadership is the enabling and all empowering force that you need to have in your company. I thought in this video it would be very nice to do some myth debunking. There's so many things around business processes that people think that they're like that or they're like this, and it might not necessarily be so. For example, quite often I'm told that business process management, or BPM, is really difficult and slow to do. Well, as we discussed in the previous video, that could be the situation. I mean, if you take some old-fashioned traditional method, you put it in your company, it's going to be very data heavy, it's going to be resource heavy, it's going to be very slow to implement. Some of these projects, they start, let's say, in January, and not even the next year's January you're going to get some result. That might be the year after. So it can take anything up to 12 to 24 months. I think quite common time for traditional Lean Six Sigma and TQM projects is to take something up to 18 months that you can actually see the results from the day it started. So the problem in today's world is that we cannot wait that long. If we wait 18 months to get results from a process improvement project, that's going to basically mean that the competition is going to be way ahead of us. Unless if you are in an industry where you're so lucky that you actually your competition is doing the same thing, so you all are then going in the same time frames. But that's not going to give you a competitive advantage, is it really? So what you should do instead is to find some agile, very fast, easy to implement and powerful methods that you can put to optimize your processes. And one of those methods is, for example, customer experience innovation method, which will help you to analyze the customer journeys, and then you analyze the internal processes, you put them together, you align them together, and you can immediately see that what's going on and where can we improve quite fast. Another myth is that understanding customers is really hard. So how can we know what the customers want? And just a few days ago I saw again some new blogs on how voice of customer is underestimated part of Lean Six Sigma method, and then for that reason people are not using the voice of customer correctly. Well, that's partly true, yeah, but I think the biggest problem in voice of customer is that it's tapping into customer wants. I mean, if you think about it in your own life, do you think that what you want is always the same what you need? Or is there sometimes things that you really want? I mean, I need to get that, I want to get it. And then you get it, and then you realize that I didn't need it really. So you wanted it, but you didn't need it. And then the third level is that, what do you expect? When you buy something, what do you expect? I just bought this one adapter I can use this to connect this microphone to the camera, and I really needed it. I didn't want to get it, but I had to buy it, so I needed it. And my expectation was that once I buy it, it's set in the description that it is compatible with my microphone and it is compatible with my camera. But when I got it, it didn't work. I don't know why, because the seller is currently having the Chinese New Year, so I have no idea that what's going on, but they're gonna come back to me in next 7 days. Well, that's not gonna help me much, so I had to go into another shop and buy another adapter, which then actually worked. So that really shows that what people want, need, and what they expect are not the same things. So is it difficult to understand that? Not really when you put yourself in the customer's mindset. You need to put their shoes on, and you need to think how they think about your business. And that's something that is not very commonly asked in the business, because we have all those strategic methods and ways and Excel sheets and Word documents we need to fill in, and we do that from the corporate mindset. Instead, we shouldn't be doing it from the corporate mindset, we should be doing it from the customer mindset. And using your just common man logic to understand that, oh, this is what the customers would like to get from the business I'm in. You just think that if I was the customer, what was it that I would like to get? And then you just get that. So you can immediately start unraveling what's going on in customers' head, and you can put that into the strategy. So you start applying your business against those customer needs. So how about processes in general? Quite many people tell me that when I said, they ask me what business are you in, and I say I'm in customer experience business, I'm in business process management business, and they say, oh, processes, they're very boring, aren't they? That, it's boring business to be in process business. I really don't think so. I mean, if you think about processes, they are all the work that is done to create the customer experience. And to create the customer experience is very exciting. I mean, the way I do anything, or my business does anything, or your business does anything, is to deliver against the customer outcomes. They need to get something done, they need your help to do it. That's why I'm making this video, that's why you're watching it, and that's why you are in the business you are in, so that you can help people to get what they are trying to get. And for that reason, processes are very, very important, because they will make sure that the way we do that is going to be consistent, it's going to be reliable, and the quality will be high. And when you do processes from the customer perspective, they're not going to be boring anymore. It's going to be very interesting, because you're going to be in this other person's, in the customer's mindset, trying to understand what are they doing and how should we do this, and then you just align that back to your business, and that keeps your business and your processes fresh all the time. That will also show you that you don't need 200, 300 process maps to understand every single process in your company, because you only need to understand first the most important processes, those processes that contribute the most into customer success. Once you understand them really well, then you can go into details if you need to. I have noticed in many projects that you don't necessarily even have to go into that many details because you get the business results before. So that's going to take care of it for you. Then the other thing which is very common is that companies say that we cannot change our IT systems. The IT systems tells us how we deliver the customer experiences, and the IT systems are so rigid and we cannot change them that the processes need to adapt around the IT systems. Well, I think that's bollocks, isn't it? At the end of the day, yeah, it's expensive to create IT systems and replace old ones. But how much does it cost in lost business, in lost revenue, and in lost customer satisfaction to use some old IT system which was designed a long time ago, and it wasn't designed originally for the best purpose anyway. And now you know that your purpose has changed from internal business into external customer mindset. So you need to have IT systems that are really adaptive. We actually designed one IT system a couple of years ago that is like 100% completely adaptive. Everything that system does is configurable. So you can change everything that it does in very short period of time, just changing the configuration of the system. And of course, if you need new functionality, then you probably need to program it, but you can get a lot of new functionality also just reconfiguring the existing ones. And you don't need programmer for that. You need a person who understands how to configure the system and rewire the system into new purpose. And that way, that company has been able to be just right in the top 1% in their field. They're doing media and TV broadcasting, so they are at the moment having always the latest things that anyone can come up with, because they can configure their systems to adapt into new ideas and new ways of serving customers very quickly. Then I would like to discuss probably one of my favorite topics, which is that the business strategy our company has is not relevant for me. There's been so many times when the CEO sends the whole company email saying that today or tomorrow 2 o'clock everybody you have to come into the common area, we have some cookies and tea available, and I'm gonna explain to you what is our strategy for the next year. And then you go in there and everybody's just chatting and catching up and having some milk and cookies and tea and all that stuff, and then the CEO starts the presentation, and he does like this very charismatic and very inspiring vision of next year, and he's gonna paint the picture of the better company and better income and higher salary and whatever is the promises for the next year. And of course he's going to remind us that yeah, there are a few challenges, we need to overcome this and we need to overcome that, so that it's a realistic. And then employees are like, yeah, let's do this, let's go for it. And then you go back to your own cubicle, sit down on your own seat, and then you just brief out and think for 5 minutes, and they're like, what? Yeah, it was great presentation, it sounds really good, but I have to now fill in this Excel sheet, and I know I'm going to be filling this Excel sheet for the next year. So what's the point? What can I do differently so that me filling the Excel sheet would actually change something what the CEO was talking about in the strategy? And I think that is one of the biggest problems that companies have, because the misalignment of the ivory tower, that being the top management with their strategic vision, and then the employee level, the lower level employees who actually do the day-to-day work, and they are not connected. These two parties are just not connected, because you don't know how my work today is going to implement the strategy tomorrow. And that's why I think you need to bring the strategy to the people. You need to have the people doing the strategy with you. So you need to stop doing that ivory tower stuff and they get more on the floor level and have people involved in that. And customer experience innovation method is actually good for that, because it puts that everyday practical tasks in the same light with the strategy, and it will show that okay, that's where we want to be. This is the chain down to the lowest detail level we need to be to realize that strategy. And then if you are one cog in the wheel, you're gonna see that alright, so that's my part, and doing my part here is gonna be important for there and there. So that's going to show you that how the daily work is aligned into strategy. Then there's one more, which is removing waste. Removing waste is quite interesting concept in processes, because of course we want to model the processes so we understand what is going on. But we also, what we want to do is to remove waste from the processes so that they are more optimized and they will work efficiently and be better for our purposes. So now the traditional ways of removing waste is that we calculate various variation and we see all that stuff, and then we just try to get rid of all the tasks and jobs that are not so much needed to our opinion. Well, I think that's the wrong perspective, because it comes from the internal viewpoint of the organization. It doesn't come from the external customer viewpoint, because the customer might say that it doesn't matter how optimized and aligned that process is, I'm not going to buy that anyway. I don't need it. I don't think it adds value to my life. So you are actually optimizing and fixing something that is useless. So what we want to do is we want to understand the whole customer journey, and then in that customer journey we can see that what the customer is trying to achieve in different parts, and then we can choose that, alright, those are the parts we're going to serve, and we can remove the other parts. So you remove waste from processes based on what customers value and they want to pay and buy for. So putting all these myths together, I think it comes down to number one challenge, which is that the customer is not really my job, is it? It doesn't matter if you are employee level or you are mid-management level or you are the top senior management, even board level or CEO or whatever. Many of these people think that customer is not my job really. Or they think that, yeah, it's my job, but I don't know what to do exactly to make it relevant for me. So what you want to do is you want to understand all the customer interactions that are related to your job specifically. Do you send emails to customers? Do you call them? Do you send them something else like documents, or you mail them something, or you discuss with them, or you have face-to-face meetings with them, or you actually produce something that is given to them? If you think about, let's say, that simple adapter which you can use to connect the microphone and camera, it doesn't actually have that many parts in it. So let's say that you do only one part inside that whole device. So what if you didn't do your job? That basically would mean that that part is missing from the adapter, and maybe that's the case what happened for me, that somebody decided that I have nothing to do with customer anyway, I'm not going to do that part, and I'm going to quit my job and leave and let it be, and that's why I end up with an adapter which doesn't work. So I'm pretty sure that you can see the point I'm trying to make. Even though you wouldn't have direct one-to-one or one-to-many relationships with the customers, it doesn't mean that your work and what you do is not integral part of creating the customer experience. I think every single person in every single company who is working in there should understand what is their role and their place in the customer experience. Let's take the office example. Let's say a cleaning lady in an office. Would you say that that person who is cleaning the office tables and floors and all that stuff has anything to do with the customer experience our office creates? And to make it even more difficult, let's say that the customers never come to our office, so it's only the employees inside there. So does she have anything to contribute into the customer experience those people who are dealing with the customers are creating? I would say that yes. I would say that it's very important, for the reason that if they don't do their job well, and let's say you spill your cup of coffee on the floor and nobody cleans it, and that happens for the next year quite often. So what it will mean is that your workplace is not going to be enjoyable for you because the cleaning is missing from there. That's going to mean basically that you're not going to enjoy your work, that's going to reflect your work, and that's going to reflect the customer experience you are creating through your work. So all these things, they pile up, and everything should have a meaning in creating the customer experience. If there is something that you just cannot figure out that how on earth that is contributing for us creating customer experience, that is then something you should write down, and you should start thinking about it, that is it something you need to get rid of, because there's unbelievable amount of work in every company that you can just get rid of, because it doesn't contribute and it doesn't create customer value. It's just something we thought or still think that it's important, but when you really start thinking about it from the customer perspective, you're going to find that it's not that way. And that's actually one of the secrets I have when I tell some companies who tell me that, all right, we have done Lean Six Sigma, we don't have any variations, we have really optimized processes, so what else can you offer? And I can say that, yeah, I can still optimize you, and I can actually help you to grow your revenues. And the reason is this perspective, because I'm not going to go down into more detail than they have done. I'm going to go on the broader scale, and I'm going to ask that, all right, this stuff that is going on here in general, is it contributing? Are the customers ready to pay for it? And when you ask that question, you're going to see so many things revealing that, all right, there's a lot more we can do. This part we can improve, this part we can get rid of, we need to add something here. And when you do those changes, you're going to see how your customers are going to get happier. You're going to get more promoters that are going to bring new customers in. You're going to get better customer retention, smaller churn, and all that stuff, because people outside you and the people you deliver your services to are going to get some really valuable stuff. So let's go into last thing. The last thing is that today, put your internal organization specific organizational eyeglasses onto the table, and then take from the other side a new pair of glasses, put them on, and start looking your business and your work specifically from the customer perspective. What will you see? We have a comment box below the video, so I would really like to see that, or hear from you, that what did you see? What are the things you could focus more? What are the things you have missed so far because you haven't used the customer eye lenses to see the situation, and you have been in the traditional organization centric, organization focused inside out world, and now you come out, you turn into outside in world, you look the business from outside, you look your work and your job from the outside, and then you evaluate that, what is it that I'm doing that is really contributing? What should I do less? What should I do more? How about my team? How about people around me? Are we doing the best, and are we creating the best value for the customers? Thank you for watching this video, and I will be seeing you in the next one. Bye.